Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Professor Dr. Afaq Ahmad. In this semester we will study statistics. The course title is the Pharmaceutical Statistics and the course number is PHC 313. There is no difference between the pharmaceutical statistics, biostatistics and simply statistics. The pharmaceutical statistics means when we use the data from pharmaceutical sciences, we use the term pharmaceutical statistics. When we use the data from medical sciences, we use the term biostatistics, etc. But the subject name is the statistics. According to course content, the first topic is the definition of statistics. This is very important definition. This definition represents all the methods, collection of the data, summarization, presentation, analyzing and conclusion, etc. So what is the definition? The statistics is concerned with scientific methods for collecting, organizing, summarizing, presenting and analyzing the data, as well as drawing valid conclusions and making reasonable decisions on the basis of analysis. Full stop. The first step of the definition is the collection. Collecting means collection of the data, because statistics means shumariyat. In Urdu, shumariyat, Arabic is called adad shumar. Without the data, without the observations, you cannot perform any analysis. In short, statistics is also called the interpretation of the data. But for interpretation of the data, we require the data. The first step is the collection of the data. After collection of the data, organization of the data, organization of the data. Suppose if you collect the marks of the student in mathematics course and then organize according to the grades. For example, you can observe in this table, suppose if you convert the data according to the grades A, B, C, D, and then next step summarizing and count how many observations lies in this group grade A, how many in this B group, how many in this C group, how many in this D group, D grade. So this is called summarization of the data, summarizing. So first step collecting, second step organizing, third step summarizing, and then presenting of the data. You can present the data in the form of table, this is the table, or you can present the data with the help of different graphical methods. We will study different graphical methods according to your syllabus. 4 or 5 graphical methods are included in your syllabus. So presentation means with the help of table, tabulation or graphical method you can represent the data. And the next most important step after collection, organizing, summarizing, presenting of the data, analyzing the data. How we analyze the data? For analysis of the data, we use different statistical methods or formulas, because statistics is concerned with scientific methods. So what are the scientific methods? For example, you know that this is the formula of the mean you have used many times in your life. The mean is sum of all values divided by number of observations. Suppose after collection of the data, if you calculate the mean marks of any student and suppose the percentage is 71%, so this is called analyzing. With the help of different statistical methods, you can analyze the data. So you can say the average marks, the percentage is 71%. Or if you suppose calculate the marks of all students of the class, percentage is 71%. So you can say the class mark is 71%. So after analyzing the data, drawing valid conclusions, and this is the conclusion. If you write the result in words is called conclusion. Suppose if you write the result, the average marks of first year student in mathematics course is 71%, is called conclusion. So if you represent or write the sentence of the result in the form of comments, in the form of statements, called conclusion. So average marks of the student, single student, you can write single student is 71% or class 71%. And the conclusion is the most important step of the definition of the statistics, because any person can collect the data, organize the data, summarize the data, presenting the data in the form of table or graph, but analysis of the data is the most important step of the statistician. And next most important step is the valid conclusion. And after conclusion, making reasonable decisions on the basis of analysis. On the basis of analysis, on the basis of this analysis, what is a valid conclusion? Suppose student obtained 40% marks, you can say student is fail, or student pass less than 75% courses, student cannot be promoted in next class. Okay, so if a student obtain more than 50%, the decision will be student is pass. So the decision depends on rules and regulation. Conclusion and decision is approximately same, not same, approximately same. Conclusion represent the result in statement. Statement may be depend on the rules and regulation, but if you write only statement, is called conclusion, and then take the decision, is called the decision. Reasonable decision. Reasonable decisions mean according to the rules and regulation, on the basis of analysis. The analysis is the most important step of the statistics. So in short, you can say statistics, this is the plural term, statistics is the science of statistic, singular term. What is the difference between statistics and statistic? According to English, you can say this is the plural term, this is the singular term, but what is the difference? Statistics represent only the data, collection of the data, or organization of the data, summarization of the data, presentation of the data. And this statistic represent the analysis, conclusion and decision. Why? Because suppose if you calculate the mean value of 100 students, the formula will be same, summation xi upon n. You will obtain a single value, singular term. If you calculate the mean of the 100 students or 1000 students or 5000 students or 10,000 students or only 5 students, you will obtain a single value, singular term. Okay, this is called a statistic. So different statistical methods are called statistic. We will study according to your syllabus one by one, like mean, median, mode, etc. So the definition of statistics is very important. The first step is the collection of the data. Without collection of the data, you cannot organize or summarize or and so on. Second step, organization of the data. Third, summarization, then presentation of the data in the form of table or graph, etc. and analyzing the data with the help of different statistical methods and drawing valid conclusions and making reasonable decisions on the basis of analysis. So this is the first most important definition of the statistics. Now the next most important definition is types of data or types of variables. What is the difference between data and variables? I will explain in definition according to the title of the definition. So basically we can divide the data into two parts. The statistical data are obtained by some process of counting and measurement according to a characteristic which may be qualitative or quantitative in nature. Data may be qualitative or quantitative. Qualitative data, non-numerical data that can only be classified into one of a group of categories are said to be qualitative data. And data depend on the variable. What is the qualitative variable? A characteristic expressed in the qualitative term is called a qualitative variable. For example, medical diagnosis, sex of patients, qualification, etc. Medical diagnosis is a variable. Medical diagnosis is a variable. For example, if you collect the data of the diagnosis, blood pressure, sugar, level of sugars, PTT, WBC, etc. If you apply the medical diagnosis and collect the data, so data may be in the form of numerical data or maybe in non-numerical data. Both depends on your requirement. The medical diagnosis is a qualitative variable, but if you collect in the form of numerical form, data may be numerical. According to definition, qualitative data means non-numerical data. Suppose if you collect the data according to the diseases, the data will be qualitative. Okay, fever, blood pressure. Okay, so medical diagnosis, non-numerical form. If you collect the data in non-numerical form, is the qualitative data. If you categorize the data in non-numerical form, data will be qualitative because variable is qualitative. Now the next example is you can understand very from this example, sex of patients. You know that the sex may be male or female. Male or female is a qualitative term, not quantitative term. Okay, male and female is the data, sex of patient is the variable. This is the difference. Sex of patient is a variable. Variable means changeable. Data may be male or female. Now third example, from this qualification. Qualification is a variable. Variable means changeable. The qualification change person to person. For example, qualification may be MA, MSc, MCom, etc. So MA, MSc, MCom, etc. is the data of this qualitative variable qualification. Male, female is the data of this variable sex of patient. Different medical diagnosis is the data of this variable medical diagnosis. So from this you can conclude that if the variable is qualitative, the data will be qualitative. Next type of the data and variable is the quantitative data and quantitative variable. From this this definition you can differentiate what is the difference between qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative data, observations or data measured on a numerical scale are said to be quantitative data. Observations, values on numerical scale. Quantitative variable, a characteristic expressed in quantitative term is called a quantitative variable. For example, height. Height is a variable, changeable. The height of a person change person to person. Temperature is a variable, 1 degree centigrade, 2 degree centigrade, 10 degree centigrade is the data. If you collect the data of the temperature is the variable, and collection of the data is called quantitative data of this variable. Number of patients may be 4, 5, 10, 12, etc. So this 4, 5, 10, 10, 11, 12, etc. is the data, numerical value. Number of patients is a variable. Same as this number of students, this term number of students is a variable. If you collect the number of students 5, 10, 15, 16, 18, the collected data is called the quantitative data, and this term number of student is a variable. So what is the difference? Qualitative data, non-numerical, quantitative, numerical, and qualitative variable, medical diagnosis, sex of patients, qualification is a variable, changeable. So if the variable is qualitative, data will be qualitative. If the variable is quantitative, height is the quantitative value, temperature is the quantitative variable, number of patients, number of students is the quantitative variable. If the variable is quantitative, data will be quantitative. Okay. Now this quantitative data or quantitative variable classified into two ways. A variable or quantitative variable may be either discrete or continuous. Discrete means discontinuous. Continuous means continuously increase or decrease. So in this quantitative variable, height, temperature increase or decrease continuously. Number of patients, number of students is the discrete variable, because number of patients may be 2, 3, 5, 10. Number of students may be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2.5 patient, 2.5 student is not possible. Height increase continuously. Okay. In next video we will continue the types of the discrete and continuous variable.